is Viva México 250 Betting Picks 2025 edition of the NASCAR Gambling Podcast here on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. It's brought to you by Edge Boost, the bank account for bettors. Sign up today at edgeboost.bet with promo code SGPN and get a free Refs or Terrorists t-shirt. Claim your shirt at sportsgamblingpodcast.com/refs.
Driver, start your engine!
Strap in and pull those belts up tight as the Sports Gambling Podcast Network presents the NASCAR Gambling Podcast.
I'm just gonna put my foot on the floor and I'm not lifting till I see God or a checkered flag.
My man.
With all the news and the best bets for your NASCAR weekend.
We want to thank you tonight for these mighty machines that you brought before us. Thank you for the Dodges and the Toyotas. Thank you for the Fords. Lord, I want to thank you for my smoking hot wife tonight, Lisa. In Jesus' name, boogity, boogity, boogity.
Now, here are your hosts, Rod Villagomez and Cody Zeeb.
Hola y bienvenido a la NASCAR Gambling Podcast. Él es Cody Zeeb. Soy Rodrigo Villagomez. Está aquí para la Viva México 250 out of the Autódromo Rodríguez. I tell you what, guys. Here we go. This is the Mexico City race that we've all been waiting for a very long time. You guys have been waiting for me to bust out my Spanish that I failed. But yeah, here we are, Cody. We are ready for the Mexico race.
I feel very unprepared for this show now, Rod. Thank you.
You didn't know that I was going to bust out with my 12th grade Spanish vocabulary.
Yeah. I got, Viva la Mexico. Let's go. That's all I got for you, buddy. I'm just not, I'll leave the Spanish part to you.
It's okay. I exhausted my entire vocabulary, so I think we're good for the rest of the show. But look, this is an exciting day because obviously it's very rare that we get a chance to, christen new racetracks into the scene. I mean, we did with North Wilkesboro to a certain extent, but they'd been there before, right? We'd done it to a couple of other. We said goodbye to a track, but we've never really formally said hello in the NASCAR Cup Series to one.
We've had a few, like Iowa, but again, and even Mexico here, like been there in Xfinity. Some of these guys have raced it. Chicago Street Course was really the big one that was completely new and a new track style, everything. We didn't have the SVG on our card, so we didn't see that one coming. But this is new, and you know, despite how new it is, I think we've got some pretty solid data from other road courses to look at, and we'll get into that more in a bit. But it is brand new. There's no track history here. And I think they're even running a different course than they ran in the, on these big tracks like this and an F1 type of circuit like this is, there's many different layouts. And they're not running the F1 layout. And I think they're running a different layout than it was when Xfinity raced it. And that was back 2008, I think was the last time they were here. So it's been quite some time anyways. Excited for a new challenge and a new place for them to race. Yeah,
like you said, this is a definite departure from the F1 course, first and foremost, because obviously we know F1 cars, NASCAR, I mean, even on COTA, they don't run the same exact circuit. Yeah. There's a little bit of a change. So, that's going to happen. And, of course, we just know that these guys, now this is a road course in elevation, which you brought up in the Discord channel.
Yeah, that's going to be probably the biggest question, and there's been a lot of talk about how that cuts down horsepower. So I'll be honest with you, I'm not a big car guy as far as how I love cars. I love watching them race, but as far as how they work and all that, but the elevation cuts down on what horsepower it produces. So that's going to be interesting. And then obviously the physical element of it, right? I mean, a lot of us have been in the mountains before or at elevation at some point in our life. And it's every time we go to my in-laws, I walk up the steps to the top level of their house, and I'm just like, oh my God. Well, because you forget like how much different it is at elevation, right? And there's been some guys training crazy. I saw a story today. I shared it over in the Discord from NBC, but Tyler Reddick has been sleeping in a tent in there. His wife just gave birth to a baby. He was not sleeping with her at the end. He was sleeping in this tent that simulates being at elevation. So these guys have been doing some pretty crazy stuff to prepare for it. So that's definitely, and I think that is going to come into play. You have to somewhat be ready for the challenge at elevation. And we see that angle in football games, right? You want to target the Denver Broncos early in the season at elevation and different things like that, because it does make a difference. So I think that we will see that come into play this weekend as well.
Is sea level elevation? Because if so, then I get winded just walking up my own steps. So I don't know. Sometimes I feel.
Yeah, what are you at? Like 25 feet, Rod?
Right now, I'm probably below sea level. So they're working on the levees outside of my house. So we don't get flooded. So I guess I'm below sea level.
Yeah, well, when I was in the military down in Mississippi, we were at 20. Like our apartment was at 25 foot above sea level. I think we're a little higher than that here in Nebraska now, but nothing like Mexico City for sure.
Indeed. All right, before we get any further, I want to tell you to get all your free picks and podcasts for the Stanley Cup, College Baseball World Series, and, of course, the NBA Finals, all on the SGPN app. Get it wherever you get your apps. Chat is blowing up. Unlike Friday, which, by the way, Cody, last Friday I did the DFS episode to a house full of crickets, and then you show up and the chat's blowing up. I find absolutely I'm not surprised at all by this at all.
I think you did a great job, Rod. I learned some things about you that maybe you lie when you agree with me sometimes, but that's okay.
My wife learned that
I thought you
lesson
did a great job.
ago.
It was a little interesting listening to my own podcast without me on there. I didn't love that, but you held it down, did a very nice job. And I know you've had to do that before when I've gone solo as well or had other guests. So, yes, you did a great job, and I'm glad the chat is hopping today. Marcus checking in. It's his first hi. Hope everyone speaks Spanish when NASCAR goes to Mexico. Rod already covered that. I've seen a lot of guys tweeting out things in Spanish. That's a great way to do it because you can just type it out in English and then put it there. So that's nice. Marcus, this will surprise you, Rod, picking Christopher Bell this weekend. Of course, his weekly predictions. So that's boy. I had Christopher Bell in there, and he didn't make the final cut, but I think he's going to be a strong contender this weekend. Matt Jones checking in. The Experts Suck checking in. JDK checking in with the afternoon fellas. Impulse from the Discord checking in on his girls' YouTube. Okay, first of all, I'm glad your girl, hopefully she's subscribed. If she's not, go ahead and click subscribe. Make sure you go on your account, click subscribe as well. King checking in. 3 road courses the next 5 races. Ty Gibbs fans are getting excited, Rod, after a 3rd place finish last week. We're going to be talking about Mr. Gibbs today, so stay tuned. John with the Suarez and Xfinity. We'll be talking about that tomorrow. Elliott and Cup. Jess checking in. No trucks this week, Jess. I'm sorry. Cousin Danny is having trouble sleeping lately. Doc says he has restless leg, as in Catherine leg syndrome. That's, if you're not in the Discord, you've really been missing out here. And yes, Laura checking in as well. Lots of calls for the leg A stuff from Experts Suck there. Brian checking in, thinking a new winner this week. Could it be time for Ty Gibbs? Could it be, Rod? Getting better on how he runs on the road courses. Experts Suck with us. She's got legs and she knows how to use them. Okay, we're caught up for now, but keep it coming. We love all the stuff in the chats, and we're glad you guys are joining us live. Thanks for waiting a day. The second week in a row we've had to go on Wednesday here. It's been a little tough around here, but glad that we're here. And of course, we'll be back tomorrow with Xfinity, and we'll both be here for DFS this week. So hopefully the chat will be popping for this week's DFS show, Rob.
I hope so too. But I absolutely love you Ty Gibbs fans, how you disappear for so very long and he finally gets a top 10 finish, a top 5, a top 3 finish, and you're all out in force, right, banging the drum for the championship. I love your dedication. I absolutely do. It reminds me of Carson Hocevar fans who, I'm sorry, what happened to him last week? Oh no, he drove too poorly.
He almost won, Rod, just like the Coke 600. He almost won that race. It was so close. I guess you need fuel in those cars. It's weird. Maybe you don't need that in Mexico City. I don't know what the rules are down there, but boy, he's looked so good. He's been so impressive. Maybe it's Carson Hocevar week, Rob.
Oh my God. I'm going to leave now. I'm going to show myself the door because I'm so tired of all you guys as hosts of our love. You have to learn how to drive the cars first and not blow the tires off of them. But look, I will say brand new track, right? I've noticed a name that is already missing off of both of our cards. It is Joey Logano. Sorry for you Joey Logano truthers,
yes.
but
It deserves an honorable mention. If you're, new, and Brian wants to clarify, not a Ty Gibbs fan.
Thank you, Brian.
He wants to be sure that he has that distinction. He says he doesn't like him, but he wants to bet on him. So I like that. And King has been Team Ty Gibbs since 2020. I've been Team Ty Gibbs since his first Xfinity Series start when I placed a bet on him and he cashed I don't remember what the number was, but it was huge. It was great. It was wonderful. And I fell in love with him that day, Rod, and have been ever since. So, yes. But the Joey Logano thing, honorable mention of Joey Logano. He does like to win at new places. I think we're on a bit of a streak, though, because I don't think he didn't win at North Wilkesboro. He didn't win at Iowa. He didn't win Chicago. So, I don't know. Maybe the new thing is wore off on Joey a little bit. And just as soon as I say that, congrats to Joey on winning this weekend in Mexico City.
Boy, I tell you what.
One thing I wanted to toss out there, too, before we get started, Rod. Denny Hamlin, of course, last week's winner at Michigan. Congrats to him. Cashed that top 5 bet, no sweat for us. His wife, fiance, I think they're engaged now, whatever. Jordan has not had the baby yet. She's at 41 and a half weeks. And I guess she did go along with both of the girls as well, so not out of character for her. But here's the deal. It's Wednesday as we record this. If she has not had the baby by Thursday when he is supposed to leave, he will not be attending the race at Mexico City. If he decides not to go, Ryan Truex, who is the brother, of course, of Martin Truex Jr., Ryan is the sim guy for JGR. He does all the sim work for them, helps with the setups. He's very familiar, even though he's never raced in the next-gen car, familiar with that. So if we get to Thursday, the baby's not been had, Denny will skip Mexico City. NASCAR has clarified that is a medical waiver. It's the birth of a child, right? We all get that. And he will automatically get the waiver. He is actually locked in with 3 wins, Rod. So he's locked into the playoffs and all that. Not the best at road courses anyway, so we kind of joked about it before the show. I don't know that he'll be super sad if he has to miss this weekend. You don't have to deal with all the customs BS and all that either. So, maybe kind of a win-win if he does get a week off after winning last week. But that's just tossing it out there. I don't know a lot of people will be betting on him. Check the rules if you're going to place a bet on him. If you place a head-to-head against him, it's going to count as no action if he doesn't race, that type of stuff. And Ryan, I don't know that I would expect much out of Ryan Truex in the 11 car in his first start in the next-gen era. He's a fine driver. I have to look at his road course stuff more, but probably not really going to come into play. But just so it's out there, DFS salaries probably should already be out and all that. So Denny's in there. If you place him in a lineup, just pay attention to the news, I guess, is the thing. And that's where we're at with that. And he will get a waiver, so they're not overly worried if he does miss this week.
That's like when the work sends you on a work trip and then you're all, you're not really looking forward to it because it's in a place where you don't want to go. And then they're like, well, there may not be funding, so you might not go. And you're like, oh, darn. Man, my bags
I guess I'll
packed.
stay here and have a week off and not worry about that.
Yeah. Experts, actually, that's a really good question. Should books void any head-to-heads? Yes, they should.
Again, check rules and all that, but it almost certainly if he doesn't even make the trip at all. And there's no, before it's like, oh, he can go for qualifying, he can go back for the berth, maybe he misses in between. You're not doing that with the crossing the border, right? So it's either he goes to Mexico or he doesn't. And on-track stuff starts on Friday this week. We had a lot of practice, which we're going to give out these bets pre-practice and stuff, but do pay attention because there is going to be a lot of movement. So if you have some bets you want to place beforehand, place them before Friday when we get to practice sessions, because there's going to be movement and there's going to be things to take away from practice more so this week than probably the rest of the entire season, because we've not seen this place before, and that's going to kind of give us an idea. It's going to give people a chance to work on it. But yeah, as far as the head-to-heads, most likely it'll just be void because no action, because he didn't even attempt to make the race.
Well, King wants a Ryan Truex versus Catherine Legg head-to-head. That would be,
still not going to bet on Catherine there either, Rod. So, yes. Entry list, by the way. Catherine is the one non-charter driver that's going to be, well, I don't know. Our 2311 in front row charters right now, Rod? I don't know. I'm confused on that. Maybe we need to start naming them as all the open drivers every week. But she is the one entered that is in addition to the regular 36, I will say. She'll be in the 78 car for BJ McLeod. There's been a lot of chatter in the Discord about her. And we've got some thoughts on Catherine in a bit. So make sure you stay tuned. And we're going to have a discussion. She's 1 year before, Rod. 2019, she won a race here. So I'll leave you with that, and we'll talk about it later.
We will definitely talk about that later, and we will set up the rest of the race after I tell you about our friends over at Edge Boost. Edge Boost is the first ever bank account built for bettors, ensuring all gambling transactions are approved. There's no usage fees. There's no minimums. You earn cashback rewards, and you get 100% approval for all betting deposits. Sign up today at edgeboost.bet with promo code SGPN. And this is the last week to sign up and get a free Refs Are Terrorists t-shirts, or, again, ask the bosses for a Race Officials Are Terrorists t-shirt. Go to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/refs to claim your free t-shirt. Tell you about our friends over at Circa. They are giving away a fabulous prize for those of you out there in the fantasy football world. One so fabulous that when you win, I would like you to invite me to your league so that I can come and do this with you. Circa Resort and Casino in Las Vegas is giving away the ultimate fantasy football experience for a 12-person league to draft in Vegas and be treated like VIPs for the entire stay. Here's what you get: a limo ride from the airport, $5,000 tab for stadium swim, good for about 15 minutes, I guess, the way some of us drink out here, and a hotel stay for you and your 11, scratch that, 10 league mates plus me. You can always get 15% off of all the Circa properties with the promo code SGPN15. Enter the Ultimate Fantasy Football Contest for free at sportsgamblingpodcast.com/circa. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/CIRCA. Speaking of fantasy football, Cody, fate has put us together in the Scott Fishbowl League. I'm going to tell this quick story.
Yeah.
This real quick story. So I got the invite to Scott Fishbowl, and there's a lot going on, and I wanted to do the live draft out here in NorCal, but I was like, I don't know if I'm going to be available, blah, blah, blah. All right, so I missed the deadline for that. And I thought, oh, man, well, maybe I won't even get in the league. Well, then I got the invite to the league, the official invite, and I was like, great. And they're like, all right, pick your league. And I was like, there's so many good things out there. It's sports related this year. So they had Ottawa Red Blacks, who I'm a big fan of. They've got like Legacy Motor Club. They've got all these crazy things, right? And then there was Hendrick Motorsports. So I talked to Justin and I talked to Cody, and I was like, I don't know. There's a lot of them out there that I want. And I was like, so I him-hawed. And then I finally got the final invite for the Hendrick Motorsports League. And I was like, well, fate gave me Hendrick Motorsports. Then, no sooner did I do that than I get a text from Cody with the screenshot of me and Cody in the Hendrick Motorsports League in Scott Fishbowl, buddy. How is that? The host of the NASCAR Gambling Podcast getting put together in the Scott Fishbowl.
Makes too much sense, right? Yeah, shout out to the Scott Fishbowl. If you don't know what that is, it's a fantasy football thing. It's invite only for creators, and it's centered around fantasy football, or centered around fantasy football, obviously, but centered around donating for charities and everything. Like, do so much and donate so much for charity, all that stuff. So it's great. This is my first year being invited. So I know you've been in it for multiple years, Justin, as well. So I feel honored to get that invitation. And then, for us to end up in the same league, as fate would have it, is pretty sweet. In the ad read there, Rod, you brought up the Race Officials Are Terrorists shirt. I wanted to mention, there was some people asking in the Discord, NASCAR has this in-season tournament coming up, and there's odds now for that, who's going to win it. I would imagine we'll probably get head-to-heads and stuff, and so people were wanting an extra episode with our picks for that, and they were wanting a contest potentially. So, ask the bosses, Rod. They said, you're 11 subscribers away from 1,000 over on YouTube. If we can't get there before that, I think they're just going to probably cancel the show, so RIP to us. But if we can get those 11 subscribers between now and 2 weeks from now when that tournament starts, we're going to have an extra episode. We're going to fill out our brackets. We're going to have a bracket challenge contest, and we're going to give out whatever bets are available around it. So if you haven't, head over to YouTube, click the subscribe button. Even if you're a podcast listener, you don't have to watch on YouTube. You don't have to listen over there ever. Just go hit that subscribe button. Help us cross that 1,000 subscriber mark. We'd greatly appreciate it.
11 away. That is like, I feel like a kid on Christmas, where I'm seeing the 25th of December on my advent calendar, and I just keep moving it one day at a time. And I want, I want that ultimate prize.
You can make us not even wait 11 more days. You can help us get there today.
You could. Getting there today would be fantastic. But all right. Speaking of fantastic, getting to Mexico City for the Autódromo Hermanos Rodríguez in Mexico City, Mexico, set for 100 laps around this 2.420-mile road course for just shy of 250 miles, 242 miles, 100 laps. So that's the one thing about this, these road courses. A lot of times it's maybe 60, 70 laps. You very rarely get this many laps around a road course, and it's an entirely different challenge, right? Because you have these long sets of stretches, and a 2.4-mile track on a road course is fairly short as well. I mean, you figure 2.5, right, is the super speedway, and so you're not even a super speedway in a road course, particularly. So, yeah, these drivers are going to be tested. Obviously, simming is one thing, but getting out there in the real deal. We were asked about the elevation. Obviously, we talked about elevation being up there, but this track is relatively flat. If you've watched the F1 races, there's not a lot of, it's not like COTA where you're scaling a mountain to get up to one of the turns, right? This is a pretty much largely flat track that they're going to be navigating.
Yeah, just the whole thing's at elevation. Instead of having its own elevation, it's all elevated.
Yeah, literally, it's just all lifted up, and that's it. It doesn't. There's the track itself is on flat ground, but yeah, they're just way up in the air. So again, there's going to be a lot of obviously the road course ringers, as we still refer to them as, are going to be, and you've noticed they're pretty much heavy favorites when you look at the SVGs of the world, the Kyle Larsons of the world, but there are some people that are being undervalued, and we're going to get to them in just a second, our betting card. But that's what I love about this track. It's a complete unknown. So, I mean, I had fun digging into it, and I know that we're going to have fun talking about it.
Yeah, absolutely. It really is. I mean, they're and Laura, what is elevation? Of course, she's over there in California with you. Mm-hmm. Not much elevation where you guys are from, Rod. But it's a completely new challenge, right? We don't have track history. You can't really go back and look at Xfinity stuff from 2008. So it is completely new. And the way that I mostly looked at it is road courses, right? What have you done in the next gen era on road courses for the most part? And that's kind of how I'm approaching this. Yeah,
road courses and not the Rovals. I did not look at any Rovals. I was not even paying attention to anything like Charlotte or Indy or anything. I'm talking straight Sonoma, Watkins Glen, Road America, like those types of actual road courses. So,
yeah, I think that is actually a pretty good distinction to leave out the Roval. I will say I did not look at Chicago at all. It's a street course. It's completely different, and I don't think that has any relevance to this. Sorry, SVG fans. We'll probably talk about that in a little bit, but I just don't think that really comes into play. And I think the Roval part of it as well, you could certainly look at it some, but you have to count that for less than the other ones.
Indeed. All right. Well then, Cody, I feel like we've talked up this race enough. So let's start laying out our cards for the Viva Mexico 250 in Mexico City.
Let's do it, Rod. I'm going to start with the watermelon man himself, Ross Chastain. I'm going to take him over Mr. Kyle Busch, Rod. Old KB, as we call him, plus 110 over on ESPN. This is sort of an interesting matchup because you look at the face of it and it's like, yeah, Kyle Busch has kind of been, I mean, he dropped the F legally. It's not even there anymore. It's just KB now. But they've sort of figured some stuff out here the last couple of weeks. Ross Chastain has been pretty hot. But the thing that jumped out to me is why is Ross Chastain plus money to Kyle Busch? And that's the part of it that I really don't get too much is why that is. So that's why I'm going to take Ross in this one. I mean, that's the main reason. So if you kind of stretch out, you look over, what have you done for me on road courses? What have you done for me lately? And it goes both ways, right? At COTA, the only road course we've had so far this season, it was 12th for Chastain, so a good run, but Kyle Busch was actually 5th. And then if you want to count the Roval, Kyle Busch did finish better than Ross there. But like you said, you don't count that one as much, right? Watkins Glen from last year is a bit hard to look at because that was kind of a crazy race with a bunch of cautions, bunch of shakeups at the end. But Ross did finish 5th there, or 4th there, rather. He had a 5th at Sonoma, 7th at COTA. So really good runs last year, whereas Kyle was 30th at Watkins Glen, 12th at Sonoma, 9th at COTA. So again, it's kind of a balance of they've both had some pretty good races. It's not like Ross just stands out above Kyle completely. But I think that, where they're at right now, Ross Chastain is full on head into this. I'm going to guess, kind of seeing who Ross Chastain is, he's been going pretty hard into training for this elevation. He's ready for this. Kyle, on the other hand, he's busy making the TikTok videos and he's racing the legend cars and all this other, like, he's just going to show up and is he the most in shape guy? Yeah, right. Coming from a not very in shape guy, probably not. Right. So I'm going to give the matchup head to head in this one to Ross Chastain. So the other part of all of this is there's so many unknowns, right? We don't really know what to expect. They're calling for some rain, 60%. Looks like it might be later in the day. We know NASCAR's luck, right? It's raining, Rod. It's going to be a fucking monsoon. And so if it is, that could really throw a wrench into everything. That could create some major chaos. And in that case, you're going to want to look for more plus money head-to-heads, rather. But I just like, even if it's a dry, regular day like we hopefully it will be, give me Ross Chastain over Kyle Busch. That's plus 110 over on the ESPN.
And I know that with Kyle Busch's recent successes, whatever. With Kyle Busch actually running pretty well lately, it makes you want to take the other side of this. But lest we forget, you're right. He legally took the F out of his name. This is like Ty Gibbs all over again, right? 1 third place finish, and everybody wants to know him champion. Come on, man.
Whoa, Rod. Jesus. Do you have to go straight to the Ty Gibbs card?
Do you want me to go to Carson Hosmer? I'll go to Carson. Listen,
I'd rather you leave both of them alone, please.
I have plenty of bullets in this chamber, and I'm more than willing to fire them all out. Now, look, I get it. And for me, again, this is more about a Trackhouse as well, right? I mean, Daniel Suarez obviously being part of this SVG, right? Ross Chastain has picked a few things up from these guys in road courses, and we've seen it play out on the track. So I like this approach, especially from a guy in Kyle Busch who hasn't been consistent the way we're normally seeing it. So, all right, this next one I took at minus 110, went back to open up the dock, and because we try to give you the most recent and up-to-date odds as we can, got beaten down to 115 already. So minus 115, AJ Allmendinger. I'm taking him over Chase Elliott. Okay, so here's what I'm going for, okay? And I get it because you can open it up and you can say, well, earlier this week, yes, King, you can mute me. It's called shutting it off, and I love it. But no, we love you, King. Please don't mute me. I'll try to keep the slander down to a minimum. I'm going to talk about them not at all for the rest of the day. How's that? But I will talk about AJ Allmendinger. And AJ Allmendinger, as we know, one of the more, I don't want to say dominant road course racers, obviously in the Xfinity Series, but a very competent road course racer in the NASCAR Cup Series. 42 road courses, 3 wins, 9 top 5s, 22 top 10s. His average finish on there is 15.6 on road course races altogether. So, again, we know if you are a NASCAR fan for 20 minutes, you absolutely know that AJ Allmendinger is always a threat at road courses. Now, unfortunately, earlier this season at COTA, not a good run for AJ Allmendinger because it doesn't back up my stats. 30th place. And really, it was a surprise, right? Really a complete and utter surprise for us that he ran that poorly at COTA. He started 12th. Spent some time. He did lead a couple of laps, but I think that race had a lot of weird strategies, a lot of weird craziness that went on that made that kind of not the normal road course race. And really, honestly, that's the only one that we have had this entire year, which is so weird to say as we're halfway through the season that we've only had the one road course race. But for Chase Elliott, I mean, look, we know he's the dominant guy. We know 7 wins and 34 career starts, 19 top 5s, 23 top 10 finishes. But honestly, out of the 24 car this year, the average finish of 11.7, that's not what you expect to see out of the 9 car. That's not it. That's not what you want to see out of Chase Elliott. You want to see like top 5 finishes more often. You want to see, he's got 3 top 5s and 15 starts, 7 top 10 finishes. I know we talk about him, the model consistencies. And in fact, this is going to be probably a battle of drivers in the top 10 all day long, right? It's just going to be a matter of, can AJ get a top 5, or if Elliott gets a top 5, can AJ get a top 3? Like, these guys are going to be close. This is going to be a very tough battle. I'm not saying that AJ is going to wipe the floor with Elliott, but I think that when you look at the fact that AJ Allmendinger, one of the only drivers that has been on this track, AJ Allmendinger raced here twice in the kart series back in 2004, 2005, and finished on the podium in each of those races. Thank you, Ryan from iFantasy Race, for supplying these stats for us. But yeah, go back and look at that as well. AJ Allmendinger's been up here already. He knows what to expect. Chase Elliott, not so much. So I'm going to give that slight edge to AJ Allmendinger and take him over Chase Elliott at minus 115.
A little bit torn on this one. I really, really like AJ this week. I think that, we've always known him as a road course guy. He's extremely fit. He's a former IndyCar driver. He is going to be prepared for this type of race. This is the type of race they have circled. He's already been having a great season. I think they're just outside of the playoffs on points. I think that they're going to put a lot into this race, and I think AJ is a guy you should bet on. We're going to talk about him more later, and I completely agree with that. Elliott, it's been rough a little bit lately, right? And that's the thing that kind of gives you the pause, but he's been good on newer road courses that we've gone to. Old Car was the road course king of recent days. Not so much here lately in the next gen era, but he still runs decent. So it's kind of a toss up a little bit. I really wanted to get Elliott on the card this week, Rod, and I know searching for profit, and some of the other people are glad that he didn't make the cut because it's not always been great for Elliott lately. But I couldn't find a way to get on him, and he's just kind of being over respected by the books. But I think if I had to pick a side on this, it would be the AJ side. So I'll ride with you there.
Yeah, and King bringing up a really good point, too. Stage points will be interesting if faster cars short pit each stage. And we saw this play out in Sonoma, right? And with Elliott and with Larson, this scenario exactly played out with those two. So does that happen this week? I don't know.
One, we see it every time we go to these road courses, right? You're going to get that. You're going to have the people who are points racing. You're going to have the people who are racing. And it's hard to know going in which one it's going to be. And a lot of it's situational. If we're doing this, if X is happening for us, we'll points race. If Y is happening for us, we're going to go for the win. And so it's hard to bring that into handicapping it because we don't exactly know, but it certainly can make or break a betting day either way.
Yes, we've seen, like you said, we've lived exactly that scenario. So I think I saw my Larson head-to-head, or my Larson outright go up in smoke after that as well. So yeah. Not fun. All right, we will get to more of our bets from this Mexico City race, but first, allow me to tell you that it is time for my Underdog Fantasy Bonus Pick'em. Underdog's going long for the NBA Finals, and with their extender bonus, hop in Game 1, and the longer the series goes, the bigger the bonus gets. I know it's not NBA, but I will tell you that there is a juicy little underdog play out here for the Canadian Grand Prix. Isaac Hajar. How have I fallen in love with the Racing Bulls? What about these guys has got me all excited? Well, Isaac Hajar has a finishing projection of 10.5. Give me the better than. That boy has been finishing on the podium, or not on the podium, in the points. Boy, wouldn't that be great if he started a finish on the podium. He's been finishing in the points more often than he hasn't. So Isaac Hajar, better than 10.5 in the Canadian Grand Prix. Absolutely love that one. You can ride with us too. Sign up with our promo code RACESGPN. Claim your special pick and first-time deposit offer up to $1,000 in bonus credits. UnderdogFantasy.com, promo code RACESGPN. Our friends over at Rhythm, I know you've heard of them before. They just dropped a game-changing feature called Power Trends, and they are AI detected patterns where Rhythm model has consistently won and has a high IRA. Think ROI. Think a strikeout prop that wins 90% of the time when the line win probability hit a certain range. Power Trends are updated daily and exclusive to Rhythm. No touts, no noise, just clean data-backed bets. Download Rhythm app, check out Power Trends, and start betting smarter. You know that we will be over here in the SGPN world. What's a power trend that we are looking at? Well, I'll tell you what, right now we're talking about the MLB because that season's actually been going on right now. And the power trend that we are looking at from the Nationals and Arizona Diamondbacks game is well, let's see. What do we want? And there's some props that are going on. What are we looking at here? Learn more. I don't know. We're looking at some great props. Power trends. Jake Irvin strikeouts over 3.5 strikeouts for Jake Irvin over there for the that's what we're looking at. Jake Irvin over 3.5 strikeouts. Go find it today. Get your 7-day free trial today. SportsGamblingPodcast.com/rhythm. sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMM. We are brought to you by MyBookie.ag. MyBookie is your place to bet on every single sport, including the NBA Finals and the Stanley Cup. MyBookie accepts customers from a ton of locations. You get easy deposit, lightning fast payout using cryptocurrency. Head to MyBookie.ag. Promo code SGPN for a 100% deposit match up to $1,000. Terms and conditions apply. MyBookie.ag. Promo code SGPN. Yeah. You ever want to see me tap dance? That's how I tap dance.
I would love to see that, Rod. Samuel bringing up a good point here. Does AJ have all the pieces of his puzzle? Wasn't he penalized last week, or am I completely off? So that was Nashville where they got busted changing the splitter height or whatever it was. So he served the penalty for the race there. I don't think there was any suspensions off of that. So everybody was there last week at Michigan. His car chief had his hard card pulled, but all that means is he just has to go to the credentials office every week. I don't know how that works with Mexico, but he's still allowed to be at the races. So I think everybody's there, and there shouldn't be any repercussions as far as back to Nashville for that penalty. So all the pieces of the puzzle should be there for Mr. Dinger.
Was he talking about the puzzle for his team or the puzzle for his mental status? Because we know that AJ drives with his heart on his sleeve, and there's a lot going on in that guy's head in that car. But I think he'll have it all together. Either way, whether it's mental or
that's the biggest puzzle piece. That if it's there, usually the puzzle works out pretty good. Rod, speaking of puzzles, somebody has been putting their puzzle together lately, coming off a third place finish. That's right, it's Tyrone Gibbs. I'm going to take his top 10 plus 110. Don't look at his recent road course results, Rod. That's all I'm going to say. 34th at Coda. Last year was rough. 35th at the Roval. 22nd at Watkins Glen. But you said it. Roval, hard to look at. Watkins Glen, I said it. Shit show of a race. 37th at Sonoma. But you go back to Coda last year. Third place finish. At a 4th at the Roval in 23. A 5th at Watkins Glen in 23. Even a 12th at the Indy Road Course. An 18th at Sonoma in 23 is not bad. 9th place at Coda in 23. So he's had some really, really good runs. Look, we have seen in the Xfinity Series what Ty Gibbs is capable of, all the way back to his first career start at the Daytona Road Course. Made a shit ton of money on him, and he's paid off time and time again. He is also running the Xfinity Series race. A lot of times you go to a new track, they don't allow them to drive both. Technically, it's not a new track since Xfinity's been here before, so there are some drivers doing double duty, and he's one of them. So he's going to have that race experience the day before. I think that's going to come into play for him. King mentioned it at the top of the show in the comments here, but this is it. They've got this circled, right? This is a stretch of races where this is our best chance to make up ground and to put ourselves into the playoffs. This is his opportunity. Ty felt like he should have won last week. Felt like he was held back. So I think that he's going to bring that fire this week. I think that he's going to run well. And I think we're going to see that Ty that we saw back in 23, even early 24, with some of these 3rd, 4th, 5th, even 9th, 12th place finishes. So plus 110 for the top 10 for Ty Gibbs. And then Austin Cindric, a guy that's being slept on way too much this week. Top 10 plus 220. Probably one of my favorite bets on the entire board right here. Austin Cindric is a solid road course racer. 25th at Coda, things didn't go his way. I think he got spun out late there. 4th at the Roval last year. Again, grain of salt, but still a good run. 10th at Watkins Glen. 22nd at Sonoma. 18th at Coda. So it's not always been there, but again, it's kind of the same thing with him. You go back to 2021, 2022. So 22 in the new car. 8th at Coda. 5th at Sonoma. 7th at Road America. 2nd at the Indy Road Course. 13th at Watkins Glen. 6th at Coda in 23. He's had some really, really good runs. Falling off a little bit lately, but still glimpses of good stuff. 4th at the Roval, 10th at Watkins Glen. I think that Cindric, in just with the season they're having, right? He's probably not worried about stage points. They're already in the playoffs, right? Not locked in, but in the playoffs, likely going to make it there with that win earlier this year. So Cindric, I think, is a guy to watch, and odds are pretty watered down near the top of the board. The books are a little bit scared. They don't know what to do. We don't know how this race is going to go. So a lot of minus money, top 10s. This is one that's not too much of a long shot where you're kind of throwing darts. You get much past him, and don't worry. We're going to throw some of those, Rod, but they are more a dart throw. Cindric is just a guy who could easily be one of the top runners in this race. And actually, I've got some more thoughts on him in a little bit that we'll get to. But I love Austin Cindric this week for a top 10 at plus 220.
Yeah, again, these are the top 10 market is where I think you're really going to make your hay. And I mean, as far as the Ty Gibbs top 10, if there was ever a place I'd be comfortable with, that is. I just wish the number was a little bit bigger in that one as well. So yeah, I really can't argue a lot of top 10s this particular week because we've seen actually guys like Michael McDowell jump in the top 10 in a couple of these road course races. We'll talk about another couple of guys. In fact, we'll talk about one right now that jumped in the top 10 that I don't know that is going to get in the top 10. You'll argue that he will in a little bit, but I feel like this is going to be a battle between 15th to 25th, and that is Cole Custer to win Group D, plus 300 over in Hard Rock. Well, what does Group D consist of? Well, that's Brad Keselowski, Noah Gragson, and Justin Haley. So just in case you wanted a reason to cheer for Cole Custer, this is your reason. Look, here's the thing about it, okay? For Cole Custer, it's not as if he's like a barn burner in the Cup Series when it comes to road courses, and I get that. In 17 road course races, he's only got 2 top 10 finishes entirely in that one. But we all know that in the Xfinity Series, he was one of the better road course racers. He was battling the Justin Allgaiers of the world. He was battling all the Ty Gibbs even, right? We talked about Ty Gibbs being one of the road course racers that was formidable in the Xfinity Series. Road courses for him in the Xfinity Series for Cole Custer, 27 starts, 1 win, 5 top 5s, 19 top 10s, average finish in 10th place. Now, again, he's driving the Stewart Haas, the Haas factory machine, so it's not necessarily the most fastest, but he's also, again, going up against guys who really just haven't been doing well at all. I mean, I know that Brad Keselowski popped up at Charlotte and had a 5th place finish, actually had a 10th place finish at Michigan the other day, which was great, right? I mean, that's fine, but let's not forget that overall, 24.3 finish, and how did he do at COTA? 15th place. Okay, but that's like when he was actually running semi-well. I mean, he started to run well after that. 33rd at Phoenix, blah, 11th at Vegas, and then he dropped off again. Brad Keselowski's not been consistent. He'll have some good finishes, and then he won't. Road course, not his strength. 47 road course starts, no wins, 7 top 5 finishes, only 11 top 10 finishes in that span. Average finish of 17.1 on road courses for Brad Keselowski. And this is a brand new one, right? I mean, look, as one old guy to another, if you put me on someplace new, I'm probably not going to adjust well to it. So I'm not big on Keselowski this week. Noah Gragson, average finish of 22.7 this season. Yeah, he did get an 8th place finish over at COTA earlier, but I'm not necessarily all that thrilled about it. In 7 road course starts in the Cup, he's only got 1 top 10 finish, which, by the way, was this last top 10 finish here. And so, again, it's an average finish for him on road courses of 21.9 in his Cup Series career. Sonoma, he finished 26th. The Watkins Glen, he finished 11th. So, I don't know. And then Justin Haley, say what you will about Spire being fast. They weren't really talking about Haley. They were talking about McDowell. They were talking about Hocevar. Haley, in 23 road course starts in the Cup Series, only 2 top 10s, 24.2 average place finish. This season, 22.4 average finish in total, right? He's only got 1 top 10 finish all year long. I don't see him being a factor in this. So I think Cole Custer, with his road course experience, good enough to be able to get into this group and win at plus 300.
Yeah, that's your shitbox special of the week, Rod. I think you're going to have to be looking pretty far down the leaderboard for a majority of these guys. If you could give out an award for least in-shape driver, I think Keselowski would easily win that. And he's just not great at road courses, which is crazy. He had that one amazing Watkins Glen race with Marcos Ambrose years back but it's not been good for him lately. The Haley part, he's just fucking sucked this year. I tried betting on him last week to just try and just maybe they find something, but my God, it's how the mighty have fallen, right? At one point you're like, oh, is he going to get in the 48 car for Hendrick? And now, like, maybe they should have just kept Corey LaJoie in there because it couldn't have been any worse than Haley's been. So
wait,
Gragson?
I have a question to you. Do you think that Corey is making more money in the booth at Prime or in the 7 car when he was driving it?
Well, I think he's making more money because Spire's still paying him to drive the 7 car because of his contract.
Oh, yeah.
But he's also now, did you see his analogy for for driving for Spire in the trucks, Rod?
I didn't get a chance to.
Oh, you've got to look it up. But basically, he said he feels like his wife became a TikTok star and divorced him. And then she came back to him and he moved back in, but he has to live in the garage now.
That's right. That's right.
If you haven't seen it, it was great. So
that's beautiful.
But yeah, I don't mind this group with Custer. I think you're kind of all over the place. I think you could bet this and you could still Princess Cat checking in. Boogity, boogity, boogity. Leg go racing, boys. All right, there you go. I like it.
The bots are going crazy in the chat right now.
And cousin Danny Haley is Dookie. Oh God, yeah. Samuel Haley fighting for the lead in Chicago against SVG still feels recent enough. I'm pretty sure I had money on him that day, and that was a bit sad. But King bringing up a good point, Rod. Noah Gragson, a little sneaky on road courses, and that's actually the next guy I'm going to. If you want to take Custer in that group over him, I don't mind that. And I'm not saying he's going to be in top 10 this week, but I think at 8-1, again, with where the top 10 market is this week, Gragson's one of the longer shot guys that I can kind of cling on to and a guy that I want to get in on. One start for Front Row Motorsports, who we've seen. Front Row has been good on road courses. Remember, Michael McDowell won in that 34 car a couple of years ago, the Indy road course, I think it was. But he's got one start with the team, 8th place finish this season at COTA. The one thing we have to look at already. So there you go, right? One run in this car, one run this season, 8th place. He's already done it. I like to see that, and I like that. 31st of the Roval. Rod said throw it out, so I'm going to do that. 11th at Watkins Glen. The other finishes, but again, some in the 42. He had to start back in the 48, filling in for Alex Bowman at the Roval. Some in the 10, but Stuart Haas was going away. Like, how much do you? So the one start we can really look at and be like, that's the team he's with. That's this season. It's on a road course, an 8th place finish. That's what I'm going to cling on to. So give me Noah Gragson at 8-1. And even if you want to take Custer over him in that group, I think it's fine to have both of them. 3-1 there for Custer. But Gragson, I think, a bit of a sleeper that could potentially put together a solid day, and he's been having a pretty good season. Riley Herbst, 12-1, another guy that I'm looking at, Rod. One career start in the Cup Series on road course, so we don't have a ton to look at, right? That's it. But it was a 15th place run at COTA earlier this season. So only 5 spots out for 12-1. You don't mind seeing that by any means. Pretty decent road course guy in Xfinity. No wins, nothing like that. Nothing crazy, but ran some decent races. Not much to look at here other than he's in a pretty good car, a 2311 car. Cars make a big difference, Rod, and we're going to talk about that a little more in a little bit. But the type of car you're in makes a big difference. Tyler Reddick, one of the favorites in this race in 2311 equipment. It's good equipment. Riley's a good, solid driver. If things get a little hectic, a little crazy, the type of guy that can just put together a solid day, kind of work his way towards the front. Again, the long shot market is pretty rough this week, but at 12-1 for Riley, a guy who in his one career start in the Cup Series, 5 spots outside of the top 10 on a road course, I'll take it. Give me 12-1 for Mr. Herbst. 12-1 for the top 10.
Yeah, again, like I said, with these top 10 markets, you do have to sprinkle some around because this is a new track. There could be calamity. There could be definitely a lot of strategy calls that actually throw this whole race into a tizzy, and guys like Riley Herbst can and usually do benefit from that. Hunter, here in Mexico now, ironically on vacation. I'm so jealous.
Well, shout out to you. Thanks for listening to us on vacation. That is great. Are you anywhere near Mexico City? If so, are you going to try and get over there and check it out? You're probably not vacationing in Mexico City, but hey, I don't know your life. I don't know where you're vacationing. But yeah, hey, there you go. Shout out from Mexico on the show. Rod will take it.
Hola, and welcome. Yeah, love it. All right. Cody just closed his eyes and threw a dart with that bet. Well,
sometimes that's what you have to do, King. Hey, look, a 15. There's just not a lot of data to look at. I mean, he's only got one start, but he was only 5 spots out of it at 12-1. When you look at the rest of the top 10 board, and it's like, especially if you want to bet on a longer shot, maybe we get some rain, maybe things get crazy. We've seen Watkins Glen last year. We've seen, was it COTA a couple years ago in the fucking monsoon? Like, we've seen some crazy races where some long shot stuff can hit. And if you want to bet on a long shot, which apparently a lot of people in the Discord want a long shot to bet on, Rod, this is a long shot to bet on that might actually work out for you.
Sunday in Mexico City, there is a 41% chance of participation.
So you're telling me there's a chance. Rob.
Precipitation, 60% around 4 o'clock. So, there's a small enough chance, a big enough chance.
Here in Nebraska, that means it's going to rain. So that's if it's 40%, it's fucking raining.
See you about that.
80%, it's not going to rain. So that's usually how it works.
It's weird how that balances out on the other side of it, isn't it? All right. Speaking of long shots to bet on, look around the books. You will see Todd Gilliland anywhere from plus 2-something, 3-something for a top 10 to FanDuel. And I had to screenshot this because I don't know if people are going to believe me unless they have FanDuel and can go to FanDuel. But plus 900 for a top 10 out of Todd Gilliland. This is 2 weeks in a row that I've talked about Todd Gilliland. And by the way, he actually did come up to be a pretty decent DFS play in the race last week. So I'm pretty happy about that. Okay, never mind. He crashed out of it. But for a long time, he was looking like a good DFS play because he was running around in the top 15 for Todd Gilliland. But this particular race, I will just go back to the most recent road course race that we had this season, which was Cody, which, by the way, Todd Gilliland started 10th and finished 10th. So Todd Gilliland with a solid top 10 finish for you there. I'm telling you, one of these things where we back it up with other road courses at the Circuit of the Americas at Cody. He's got 2 10th place finishes in 4 starts. So 2 top 10, half of the time he was finishing top 10. Todd Gilliland at Road America, 25th. Okay, that's not good. Todd Gilliland at Watkins Glen, 11th place in 2023, 16th in 2024. Again, for a 9-1 to finish just 6 spots outside of the top 10, you got to love it. Sonoma last year, 10th place finish at Sonoma for him there. Sneaky top 10. Shouldn't really be 9-1. So go get it on FanDuel because if you can't, if you can get it, I don't know. I'd still take it at the 4-1 or 5-1 range, but like 9-1, you can't pass that up because that is an absolute steal for a guy who just finished top 10 in the only road course that we've had this season, and at Sonoma, which we know is a little more technically challenging than some of these other road courses out there. So the last time he was on that track, he finished in 10th place. So yeah, give me Todd Gilliland, 9-1 for a top 10 finish.
Yeah, don't mind this at all. He's a guy that I like to go to often. So no arguments for me there, Rod.
Beautiful. Wow, so much stuff going on. There's a lot of leg talk going on. We'll get there. Don't worry about it. But where are we going now?
Your leg talk coming up soon on NGP, Rod. We're going back to the top manufacturer market because I got to hit it every single week. Top finishing Ford. Look, you go over to the Ford market and we talk about how open it is on a week-to-week basis. Could really be anybody. Might be the opposite of that this week, honestly, because I don't think there's a lot of good Ford road course racers. Michael McDowell has traditionally been one of them. He's no longer in a Ford, right? So you've got Chris Buescher at the top of the board. Let's set that on the back burner. We're going to get to that in a minute. Austin Cindric, these are your 2 really good road course guys. Ryan Blaney's hit and miss. He can have good days. He can have bad days. That's been also his season. He can have good days. He can have bad days, right? Wins a couple weeks ago, wrecks out last week. You never know. Joey Logano, it's a complete coin flip. But after that, you're kind of getting into long shots. Gilly, who you just made a case for, but longer shot. Gragson, I made a case for, but longer shot. Kozlowski sucks on him. Priest isn't great. But I am going to go with Austin Cindric near the top of the board. You can get him at plus 550 over on ESPN. That's been the best number that I've seen for him. Just talked about why I like his top 10 a few minutes ago. He's really a guy that I've sort of mini car lifted. I've got another bet on him coming up. But a guy that I really like this week and that I'm kind of targeting, love the way his season's going, love what I've seen from him on road courses, plus 550 in a market where I don't think there's very many. Really, I think it's him and Buescher, and then it's quite a bit of a tier break after that. And Zane Smith at 33-1, Rod. Haven't talked about Zane yet, and it's not all been great from him on road courses in the Cup Series. 29th at Cody earlier this spring, not great. 19th of the Roval was okay. He did finish 5th at Watkins Glen in the fall. Again, bit of a shit show. Maybe wasn't necessarily running there all day, but 16th at Sonoma was okay, but that's all the way back in June of last year when he was struggling in the 71 car. Hard to look too much at that. If you go back and you look at his Truck Series time on road courses, though, very, very good road course racer. He is a capable guy of getting it done, a guy we talk about a lot when it comes to DFS, when it comes to these longer shot bets. And in a Ford market, let's say Chris Buescher gets caught up in something. Let's say Austin Cindric doesn't have a great day. Now Ford is completely wide open. It could be any of these guys. 33-1 for a guy like Zane Smith is one that I really like. And Cindric, I think really if something happens to Buescher, Cindric is easily the favorite in my opinion. So plus 550, I like him as well. In the Toyota market, a bit of a similar thing, right? Usually you go to Toyota and you're like, oh, Denny Hamlin. Not so much Denny Hamlin. He's not very good on road courses. Might not even be Denny Hamlin. It might end up being Ryan Truex. Not worried about him too much. Christopher Bell is going to be good this weekend. I 100% believe that. He's the second favorite to SVG in the outright market, and I think that's well-deserved. Tyler Reddick should be good, could be good. Things can happen, though. We've seen it time and time again. It's wide open after that. We're going back to Ty Gibbs, plus 650. I think this is a good week for Gibbs. In a week where if Bell has an issue, if Reddick has an issue, something goes wrong with those guys, it's a wide open market, plus 650. I like it. And then, get the dartboard back out. Riley Herbst is 75-1 over on ESPN. No, 75-1 on Caesars, Rod. Shop around a little bit. He's kind of all over the place, only 50-1 on ESPN, 66 on 365. But if you got Caesars, 75-1 is the best number you get for him. So I get in on that earlier rather than later. Again, some of this is for chaos, right? Maybe we get some rain. Maybe we get some crazy wrecks. Maybe we get some, we've seen, you think green, white checkers are crazy on ovals. Throw in road courses with all these turns. You got to get back to the white flag. Crazy shit happens in those. Somebody turns Bell and he hits Reddick and suddenly they're off the track on the last lap. And a guy like Riley Herbst sneaks through there and finishes 15th. He might be the best finish in Toyota. That's all it could take for a type of bet like this to hit. That's why we bet him. So Cindric plus 550, Zane Smith at 33-1 for top Ford. And then in Toyota camp, I like Gibbs at 650 and Herbst at 75-1.
I love it. Absolutely love it. Okay, I say see, this is where I'm lying, Cody. This is where you learned that I lie, right?
Oh, yeah. Great bet, Cody. Oh, yes.
Great job,
wonderful
bud.
job. Keep it up.
Yep. Well, because nobody likes it when mom and dad
Rod
fight.
hates everything I just said right
Yeah, I just literally was like, no Gibbs talk. But I'm not allowed to say that, so I'm just going to keep moving on. I do not want to be the only NASCAR show to not bring up the fact that Daniel Suarez is in this race and that Daniel Suarez is a Mexican native. So I will say that I'm bringing up the bet only because I don't want to be the only show to not say it and have all you guys go, did you know that Daniel Suarez is going to be in this race and that he's a Mexican native? Yes, I do know that, in fact. And in fact, I also know, because of my friends over at iFantasy Race, my good buddy Ryan over there, that he has previously raced here in the NASCAR Mexico Series, a 3-time winner. Now, this was the oval, I get it, but we talk about knowing how to race in elevation, right? Knowing the demands that this type of racing puts on your body. Daniel Suarez knows how to do that. He knows how to be strapped in a race car 7,500 feet up in the air and driving around lap after lap after lap after lap, right? So there's something to be said about Daniel Suarez being a little more conditioned than some of the other drivers out there right now. So for him, I was looking for a good angle, right? I was just trying to figure out where do I want to get in, where the better numbers are. Obviously, he's among some of the favorites that are out there because of everything that I just said. So his top 3 numbers at plus 470. I feel like that's a really good deal over there on FanDuel. You got to shop around too, folks. There's a lot of crazy numbers out there as books don't even know what to do with all of this because they're just trying to figure out how close they want to stick to everybody else. But FanDuel is out there killing it right now with these lines that they're giving you. So plus 470 for Suarez as a top 3 car. Look, he was 5th at Road America in 2022, the last time he was out there. I'm talking to you about all of these great road course finishes. He was top 5 at Watkins Glen. Actually, he's got 3 top 5 finishes at Watkins Glen. One of them a 3rd-place finish in the Joe Gibbs 19 back in his very first start there. Followed it up with a 4th-place finish and then a 5th-place finish. And then, of course, Sonoma. He does have that win at Sonoma in 2022. Led 47 laps of that race. So obviously fell on hard times in COTA, but he was 5th place from the start of that and ended up finishing in 36th because of the crash. But look, I mean, here's the thing. Daniel Suarez is a decent enough road course driver to where he can get there by merit alone. Now you throw in the fact that he is a Mexican native. He's been in this elevation. He knows what he's up against. There's no surprises here in this arena for him, right? This style of racing is his, and I think he's going to feel comfortable. Obviously, you get the home country bump, right? We talk about that in F1 all the time, where, you know, these drivers come into their home country and you expect them to get a little bit of a better finish because they're there. I think Daniel Suarez is going to get it. I think we're in for a pretty decent run out of him, and I don't really expect him to win, but I think a good solid top 3 finish out of him is not too much to ask. So I mean, Daniel Suarez top 3 plus 470 at FanDuel.
Yeah, I think he's a popular guy to pick this week. Of course, the home narrative and stuff, and that makes him a little harder to bet on in some other markets because he's already kind of watered down a little bit. People jumping on it early. But he is racing in the Xfinity race. He's going to be in the 9 car for JRM. So you like to see that. Obviously, he's going to have that on-track stuff as well beforehand. So I think that and look, if anybody's got this race circled, it's Daniel Suarez, and he's been a great road course racer over his career. We've seen it out of him. So I like it. I'm going to guess they'll have a piñata on standby in case they need to celebrate, Rod. Something I would like to celebrate is Chris Buescher and his massive success on road courses. Chris Buescher, Rod, has the best average finish, 16 races in the next-gen car on road courses. 7.9 is his average finish. And it doesn't stop there. If you go back to the old car, really fucking good at those as well. So I am going to car lift Chris Buescher this week. We're going to start the top 10. I'm going to give out there as a play. This is up to you. It depends what number you can get. If you want to play it, you only pay the juice if you lose, which it doesn't lose much. It is minus 150 on ESPN. That's the best number I've seen. I'd imagine that doesn't stick around long. I've seen some minus 175, some minus 190, other books. So if you can get that part of it, that's going to be the safest leg of this to play, and the leg that cashes more times than it doesn't. But I like his top finishing Ford at minus 110. So now you've got Buescher at minus 110. You've got Cindric at plus 550 and Zane Smith at 33-1. I feel like you're really covered in the Ford market. And even though he's minus 110, I think Chris Buescher is clearly the best Ford on road courses. And I don't think it's like I put Cindric in the same group as him, but I don't think it's that close. I think Buescher is the guy. Top 5 is plus 225. I want to play that as well. 17-1 over on FanDuel. One of the better numbers I saw out there. So I love him. You just go back and you look through his finishes. 7th at Coda, 17th at the Roval, kind of a rough day last year, but he won Watkins Glen. 3rd at Sonoma, 8th at Coda, 7th at Charlotte, 7th at Watkins Glen, 11th at Indy, 4th at Sonoma, 8th at Coda, 6th at the Roval, 9th at Watkins Glen, 10th at the Indy Road Course, 6th at Road America, 2nd at Sonoma, 21st at Coda. So his 2 bad finishes I've had so far are both at Coda, or I guess that's Coda and the other one's Roval. Never mind. But that's those 16 results I just read there. That's him in the next gen era. So the very first next gen race at Coda, 21st, and then the Roval last year, 17th. All other 14 inside of the top 11, 13 of those 14 inside of the top 10 for Chris Buescher. Extremely, extremely consistent. Very good, very underrated road course guy. Just the one win was at Watkins Glen this past season. He's been close a couple times. Had that second to Daniel Suarez actually at Sonoma in 2022 there. And he's just always in the mix. He's coming off a second place finish last week at Michigan. Maybe if they didn't save as much fuel as they did, he could have caught Denny at the end there. But I love the momentum that he's coming in with. And I think he's just, 14 or 13, I guess, 13 out of 16 road courses in the next gen era. And I don't remember what he's done. Honestly, Chicago's completely crossed out. Not even looking at it. He might have good finishes there, but road courses in the next gen era, 13 to 16 inside of the top 10. So I love playing Chris Buescher this week, riding that car lift all the way to the top.
I really did consider, and I tried to find the right angle for it, so I'm glad you put him in there at least, because for me, I was trying to find the right angle to get him in there. I feel like of all of the RFK cars right now, obviously he's the one that has the most. We talked about Ryan Preece being good for a little bit, but he's fallen off. Obviously, Brad Keselowski, he popped his head up the other day and got himself a top 10 finish, but it's not been good for him. So yeah, Buescher, and then like you said, on road courses, and of course, as Boji Joe pointed out on Twitter earlier too, he was the one that was in contention for the win a few weeks back or a few seasons back on another road course. And so, yeah, he's going to be there. I'm okay with that as well. So I like that. Well, let's see. I'm going to take the winning car number again. And this time, I was trying to figure out where to put it on the sliding scale, right? Because you've got Christopher Bell, who Marcus is absolutely just thrilled on, and he's pretty much the line on this one. 19.5 is where I'm going to set that one, is where Caesar set it. I'm going to take the under on this one, plus 165. On the over side of this, I understand because you do have the Christopher Bell, you do have the brand new track Joey Logano, but then after that, you kind of, and here's where I'll talk about Suarez, because Expert Sucks wants to know, did you guys cover Suarez? I missed that. Here's the thing, or SVG rather. Did we cover SVG? He didn't make either one of our cards. And honestly, not because we are discounting him, but it is so hard to bet on him. If you look at his numbers, the lines for a top 5 are like minus 500. His line to win is what, plus 325. This is a brand new track. I understand Chicago was too, but now he's not taking anybody by surprise in this one like he did last time. They know they know him. They know who he is. They know what kind of a driver he is. Yes, King SVG. Sorry, not Suarez. But we're not fading SVG so much as we're just not really even talking about him. I mean, honestly, we're not telling you don't lay anything on him if you don't feel like it, because there's a very real possibility he can go out and do it. I'm not scared of it this time like I have been on other road courses, because he hasn't proven that he's been dominant like he was when he jumped onto the scene. So Daniel Suarez, obviously, Daniel Suarez and SVG are on the other side of this 20, which is two of the guys that I fear the most. But underneath that, you get guys like Ross Chastain, who Cody just talked about earlier. You get Austin Cindric. You get Noah Gragson, who Cody made a case for to be a top 10 car. He could be a top winning car if you wanted. You get Denny Hamlin if he ends up making it to the race. You get AJ Allmendinger, and then you get Chase Briscoe and Chris Buescher, right? You get a lot of guys underneath that, and you get Kyle Larson. I forgot even to say Kyle Larson in that as well. So, Byron. King wants to know about Byron. No, I'm not scared of Byron. But I will say that all of these... Huh?
You should be. No. We'll cover that in a minute.
Yeah, we will. But no, there's a lot more underneath this 19.5, and the fact that it's at plus 165, I like the number on that one. I do definitely feel like if you're going to take a side of this, take that side, and then just bet a couple of these outrights if you want, because the under is juiced at minus 140. But that's only really... you might as well just bet SVG at plus 325 if that's what you really want to do, because betting the over only gives you a couple of them. So give me the winning car number under 19.5 plus 165.
You might have undersold the over a little bit. Byron, I think, is going to be a threat. Reddick, Bell, I'm pretty scared of. SVG. So the SVG thing, Rod, he is the favorite, and I think he probably should be the favorite. And if he wasn't the favorite, then we probably would be betting on him, if we're going to be honest, right? But if you look at road courses for SVG, Chicago Street Course, we're not counting. That was the perfect storm. He comes in, it's a street course, which nobody had ever run. AJ Allmendinger had run some street courses that had been a while back in IndyCar, different. SVG was coming from a stock car that's similar to the next-gen car that races street courses all the time. That's what he did all the time. Then you throw the rain on there. Nobody had been on this circuit. Everything lined up perfectly. He goes out, he wins. It's a miracle. It's great. It's crazy. It's wonderful. It's awesome. Since then, he's not won Chicago again. Actually, he finished dead last time. But we're not looking at Chicago. 6th Dakota earlier this year. He did lead 23 laps, okay? But 6th place. He didn't win. He 6th place. He didn't finish in the top 5, or he's minus like 600 to finish in the top 5. 7th of the Roval last year, okay. 2nd of Watkins Glen last year, but again, kind of a hectic race. I don't think he was that crazy good anyways. I mean, it was a good battle with him and Buescher at the end of that, right? So give him some credit, but he actually messed up, and Buescher got around him and won that race. Coda, 20th last year, and the Indy Road Course in 23, 10th place. So, as the favorite, and I said this earlier in the Discord, I can't justify wanting to bet on him at that type of number. What makes you think, when he's never won a road course in I think the elevation probably plays into help him, and being a new place where nobody else has been probably helps him, because he does have so much road course experience and everything. But the number it's at, it's not a guy that I can bet on, Rob.
And honestly, like I said, it would not surprise me at all, if he goes out and does it. And if you really feel strongly about it, go do it. I mean, again, this is the thing about listening to this show. Yeah, we tell you what we think, but we're not going to tell you what to do. Like you form your own opinions based on what we're talking about. Our picks that we give are merely suggestions, and if you don't like them, then don't take them. If you like them, then take them. Like that's really what we've always. We're not sitting here with our models trying to tell you what the numbers say. We're literally just telling you.
I'm about to tell you not to bet on somebody in a minute, Rod.
Yeah, you will.
We'll get there in a second. Walter, a man of the people. Caesars has a 30% racing profit boost, so make sure you get on that. For whatever your favorite bet is. All right, Rod, let's get to the outrights that I am going to bet on.
Well, hold on.
I've got quite a few.
Hold on. We're not there yet.
Okay.
We're not there.
We're going to talk about the other thing first?
Yeah. Well, first we're going to talk about this, and then we're going to talk about this. Okay. King saying McDowell, I'm crazy. You're telling me that a guy with an average road course finish of 20.7 and 46 races is going to make me. He won on the Indy GP. Yeah. That's not. We're not even counting.
Yeah, and that was, I believe, during the no caution stage time period, so it was kind of weird.
Mm-hmm.
Like there was literally no passing. McDowell's been a solid road course racer throughout his career, and then I looked to put him on the card, but I couldn't. Actually, I had him in there, and I took him out for the Ty Gibbs bet. King, you're welcome. But yeah, it's like I don't know, and he's not been that great at Spire. It's all about the 77 car, which we know Clark knows far the GOAT. So yeah, you're not crazy for not mentioning him in the over. But, Reddick, Byron, I think they deserved their credit.
Well, you'll talk about one in a second, but I think this one is for the cord, right? You're bringing this for the fans is what I said. This one, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our first ever leg lift. For those of you who participate, happy leg lift day. You never skip leg day. And this is for you guys. All right, here's the leg lift. Top 10, 27-1 on FanDuel. Top 5, 150-1 on ESPN. Top 10, 500-1 on. I'm sorry. Let me go back through that. Top 10, 27-1 on FanDuel. Top 5, 151 on ESPN. Top 3, 500-1 on BetMGM. And to win, 200-1 over on BetMGM. That's your leg lift. Catherine Legg, obviously, on this track. Cody talked about it, her record on this one. That's all for you guys. I honestly, I have no analysis, no anything. You guys wanted to know what the leg lift was. That's the leg lift.
If you're listening to the show and you're like, what the fuck are they talking about? So we have a Discord. If you know what Discord is, it's just a place we all go chat. It's basically an old school chat room, right? sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Discord. That's where you can jump in over there, jump in the NASCAR channel. I was absent from the chat yesterday. Our dog passed away. R.I.P. Alexi. But I log in today and I'm reading through messages and I'm just like, whoa, it went off the rails. Everybody in there suddenly betting on Catherine Legg, and they're correcting you, Rod, on where they can find better odds. She's going to be in the 78 car. She won a race here in 2019. I don't even know what series. I didn't bother to look because it doesn't matter. And I love Catherine Legg. I think that, people are clowning on her saying she doesn't deserve to be here. I think she does. She's a very accomplished racer, IMSA experience, IndyCar, all this stuff. But you can't bet on her. The 27-1 for a top 10, that's the only one where I would say maybe this is just like an insane monsoon and people are wrecking left and right and she just survives. But she's just not in a competitive car. If you put the 37 cars out there, Rod, and you've got 36 cars that are fairly competitive. Even the Rick Ware cars are decent. This BJ McLeod car is just not. It's not a good car, and she's a fine driver, but just don't waste your money betting on Catherine Legg is all I got to say. It's just, don't donate to your favorite charity. Give it to the homeless guy on the corner. He's going to make more happen with that dollar than you could ever imagine Catherine Legg doing with that dollar in this race.
I always give $5 to the guys that have the sign that say "No lie, I just want a beer." Because
I don't think that was Rod endorsing Catherine Legg. I believe he was just giving the numbers out for the people that were asking.
Yeah, King saying a leg lift, but trash talks Ty. I'm done. Ty King. I'm gonna make a Cody only version of this show. That way, I send it to you and you alone. That way, you can just listen to Cody and just not me.
Yeah, and she respects the sport. She's a great race car driver. I love her. I think she's great for the sport. It's always good when we've got the women drivers and everything, but just when it comes to the betting aspect, and it's more about the equipment than it is about her. It doesn't matter who's in that car. If JJ Yaley was in this race and we could get a creative head-to-head with them or something like that, okay, maybe if we get like a Cody Ware head-to-head, you could look at it, but even Cody's in a lot better of a car, and that's the biggest issue for her is and she doesn't have a ton of experience in the Cup Series either, right? She's still newer to it, all of that stuff. So yes, it's been talked about because the people were asking, and we've probably spent too much time on it, Rob.
I agree. All right, Cody. Who are we going to talk about actually win this race?
All right. You disrespected him, Rod, and I can't believe you. William Byron's 9-1 again. We were so close last week. We had the outright. Great number. Dominates the race. It's looking good late. Runs out of fuel. That's how it goes sometimes, unfortunately. But he has been such a strong road course racer. Rod, in the last 7 road courses in the Cup Series, he has got 2 wins, 2 second-place finishes, and a third-place finish. It has been amazing for William Byron. Yet, for some reason, he is 9-1. That resume against SVGs, if I blindly told you how these guys did on road courses, you would pick William Byron's every single time. Second place at Coda earlier this year, third place at the Roval last year. The Glen was rough. 34th place finish. Again, some chaos happened there. Sonoma was a bad day with a 30th, but he won Coda last year, second at the Roval in 23, won Watkins Glen in 23. He has become, because he wasn't really always, he was an okay road course racer, but he has become an elite, better road course racer lately. He continues week after week to be in the mix, and he's a silent assassin type of guy that's going to show up, have a good day. I looked at the top, right? SVG I wasn't going to bet on. I actually had Christopher Bell written down in the dock at plus 650. I think Bell is going to be really good this week, and I hate that I couldn't find a way to bet on him. He won Coda earlier this year. He's a great road course racer. It's been rough for him the last couple of weeks because we've been at intermediate tracks, but don't overlook Christopher Bell. Your fantasy teams, your all that stuff. Maybe we'll talk about him on the DFS show. I think he's going to be good. Couldn't find a way to bet on him. But William Byron at 9-1, absolutely you cannot pass him up at a number like this too. And I would suggest you get this early because I think once we get on the track, I think this number is going to disappear. I don't think that you're going to continue to see a number like this for Mr. Byron. As far as the rest of my outrights go, basically they're all long shots. I think that this is kind of an open race. We could see some stuff, so sprinkle these as you see fit. Ross Chastain at 21-1. Of course, he's come through before, hitting the 80-1 for us a couple years ago at Coda. That's his one road course win. 12th at Coda this year, but 4th at Watkins Glen last year, 5th at Sonoma, 7th at Coda. He is a strong road course guy, and really that Trackhouse group, right? You've got SVG in that room. These guys are all going to be working together this year. Ross is learning from a couple of the best. SVG is the favorite. SVG should be good this weekend. We never said that he shouldn't be. He's just not worth betting at the number. But what Ross is going to pick up from him, Daniel Suarez, I'm going to guess, has had some laps at this track before. He's run NASCAR Mexico stuff, all of that stuff. And those are the 2 guys he's going to be soaking up from, learning from this week. I love that for Ross and what he's done. Talked about Austin Cindric a little bit ago. 34-1. I think that Austin Cindric is worth the bet. Ty Gibbs, also 34-1. Added him in here late, but I think, and King said it a little bit ago, I think that at 34-1 for a guy as capable as Gibbs is, I'm not banging the drum saying that this is his week, but I'm saying that, and as Rod shakes his head, but it could be his week at the number it's at in this type of car. I think that's where it is. This one, Rod, is for the Discord. If you would like a long shot to bet on, because that's maybe what you guys are looking for, DGens only. Appreciate the hustle. I love it. If you want a long shot to bet on to win a race that actually has a shot at winning a race, you can go over to FanDuel, and for 210-1, you can get Zane Smith, who finished 5th place at Watkins Glen last year, a chaotic race, survived to the end, found his way up front. I don't think that Zane Smith is going to win this race, but I think at 210-1, if you want a long shot to bet on that actually has a shot to win this race, Zane Smith could be that guy.
Love it. Love it. Love it. I love the Zane Smith call because if he accidentally wins this race, he's going to make everybody a ton of money. I know that everybody's going to be riding the leg lift and not skipping leg day, so that'll be as well. Cody, I would like for you to tell the folks what my box consisted of, my outright box, what I put in there.
This is beautiful. In the dock, there's just a picture of a female with the shoulder shrug emoji at the top of Rod's win winner's column. So I thought that was great.
I have no clue.
Yes.
Literally no clue how to. I'm telling you right now, this to me is the most difficult because we analyze all this stuff and we analyze all this data, and honestly, it just feels like this is going to be one of those races where where at the end of it, it's going to show that none of us had any clue what we were talking about. So I feel like I'm just going to take a safer route and go with AJ Allmendinger at 14-1 to win the race. Look, we know how good he is on road courses. We know that if he can keep himself cool, if we can keep the power steering going, and if we can keep him from just listening to look, Randy Orton hears voices in his head. AJ Allmendinger is the Randy Orton of the NASCAR circuit, because that guy just hears demons all the time, and it just, if he can quiet him for 100 laps, if he can quiet him for 242 miles, I think he's as good a chance as anybody out there to win this race. I talked about all of his stats already, so I'm just going to add winning the race to this one because, like the shrug emoji says, I don't know, and I'm not afraid to admit I don't know who's going to win this race. I can take my best guess, but I don't have the conviction that a lot of you guys have about Catherine Legg to win this race, about who's going to win. So I feel like AJ Allmendinger is as good as any, right? Along with guys like SVG, if you really truly believe that plus 325 is enough of a chance to take a chance on, I know that the goal is to win bets, and that's fine.
SVG could come out and dog walk everyone this weekend, and you could look back and say, holy shit, why do we not bet him at 325? I get it. There is that possibility. Just at the number it's at, it makes it tough with what we've seen from him on the road courses. But I agree with you on the AJ part of this, and Laura does as well. She says AJ is a good bet.
Thank you, Laura.
I like AJ this weekend, and I wanted to find a way to get in on him. I couldn't really find a great way. You already had him in the outright box, so I like that. I did want to bring up Samuel bringing up Alex Bowman. I wanted to bet on Alex Bowman so bad this week. He says, Bowman, I'm a race car driver that is hitting shit. I'm tired of hitting shit. And he says, in the same breath, Bowman is a good road course racer. Yes. Bowman is a great road course racer. I wanted to get on him, but man, that hit he just took at Michigan. As rough as it's been, I tried betting on him last week. It didn't work out. Bowman's a guy to consider. Maybe some fantasy stuff. If you're looking for a guy that people are probably not going to be on, I'm off of him this week a lot, but hard to bet on.
Speaking of hitting shit, RIP to the squirrel that got blasted on pit road the other day. That was
Peanuts.
Peanuts, yes. The squirrel. I saw it too. I saw it running across, and I was like, oh, and then they cut away, and I was wondering like I wanted to know if the squirrel made it across. Apparently, we got word that the squirrel did not make it across. Who took him out?
Yeah. Ty Dillon, Stone Cold Killer. Yes, he did. I heard Ryan Flores talking on the Stacking Pennies podcast. He is on Zane Smith's crew now. He was talking about they saw it running around, and it was like right at their box, and they were trying to like shoo it. He said Kyle Larson's Jackman came over and was like trying to shoo it away, and then it ran into a drain pipe, and so they're like, okay, it's good, and then it just ran back out as the cars came down. And no shot for the squirrel. So
no shot for the squirrel. But there's plenty of shots for you to tail any one of these bets. Get out your pen and paper. Going to go over our bet. Sorry, no graphic today. You're going to have to do this old school with your pen and paper. We're going to go over our bets for the Viva Mexico 250. Cody started you off with Ross Chastain over Kyle Busch, plus 110 over on ESPN. I said AJ Allmendinger would finish better than Chase Elliott at minus 115 over on ESPN. Cody said Tyrone Gibbs to be a top 10 car at plus 110, and then Austin Cindric as well to be top 10 at plus 220. I said Cole Custer could win Group D over on Hard Rock at 3-1 over Brad Keselowski, Noah Gragson, and Justin Haley. Cody gave you Noah Gragson as a top 10 car at 8-1, and Riley Herbst as a top 10 car at 12-1. I said Todd Gilliland would return to the top 10 in the NASCAR Cup Series at 9-1 over on FanDuel. Please make sure you go to FanDuel and get that, because that is the only pro that it's actually worth taking, in my opinion. Cody went to the top Ford market, said Austin Cindric a plus 550 over on ESPN, and Zane Smith at 33-1 was his picks. And then top Toyota, Ty Gibbs at 6.5-1, and Riley Herbst at 75-1 to be the top Toyota in that. I said Daniel Suarez taking his home cooking back to the podium to be a top 3 car at plus 470 over on FanDuel. Cody's riding the Buescher car lift, the top 10 at -150 on ESPN, the top Ford at -110, top 5 plus 225, and then to win 17-1. I am giving the winning car number under 19.5 at +165. The leg lift for those of you in the Discord. Catherine Legg, top 10, 27-1 on FanDuel. Not an official play of the NASCAR Gambling Podcast. In fact, you know what? If you want the rest of it,
this is not endorsed by the NGP.
Not even close. But if you want the rest of it, go to the Discord. This is a great way to do it. sg.pn/Discord. There'll be plenty of Catherine Legg talk for you over there as I hit my microphone. And then Cody took William Byron at 9-1, and Ross Chastain 21-1, Austin Cindric 34-1, Ty Gibbs 34-1, and Zane Smith to win the race. I said AJ Allmendinger at 14-1 was my pick to win this race. Cody, I'm excited to see what plays out on this one because, again, brand new circuit for us, brand new opportunity to watch these race car drivers navigate a difficult course.
Yeah, absolutely. Going to be a difficult course. Change of pace, a lot of intermediates here lately. And yeah, now we get a road course mixed in here. So you love it. And I think it's going to be pretty exciting. Xfinity Series is there as well, Rod. All by themselves, no trucks this week. So we'll be back tomorrow with a full Xfinity Series breakdown. Quite a few Cup guys in that field. So that's definitely going to be interesting. Matching them up with some regulars in the Xfinity Series that are pretty good on road courses.
Indeed. Magnuson checking in. I just wanted to say Magnus rather saying hello. Wanted to say hi to him before we got off there. Wreck-It Ross saying giving the people what they want. That's what we do here, right? That's what we try to do.
That's what we do.
All right, it was a long one, but hey, listen, this was a fun race to break down and talk about. So let's send everybody off to start getting their cards to put together before all you guys bet the odds down while we talked.
That's right. All right, Rod, follow me over on the X at @House_Zeb. You can find all my stuff there. Yeah, we'll see you guys tomorrow.
Follow me on Twitter at RJViagom. Oh, what did I do?
10 more subscribers, by the way. We got up to 290 or 29. Jesus, I don't even know.
990?
90.
Yeah.
Yes. So 10 more subscribers. That's all we need to get to that 1,000. Help us out, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.
Love it. All right, follow me on Twitter at RJViagomez. Link in the about everything I got going on, whether it's here, in between media. I'll be on the back road tomorrow to talk Mexico with Seth and Elliot. All kinds of great stuff out there. Just follow along. All right, love you all. We'll see you tomorrow for some more talk from Mexico. And until then, let's go racing and let it ride. Adios.